Welcome to She Speaks, Women's Wisdom for Every Woman, a space for us to feel seen, celebrated, connected, and inspired. Here, we come together to tell our stories, share our lessons, celebrate our unique strengths, and reconnect with the sacred feminine wisdom that exists in all of us and guides us towards a lit up life of peace, empowerment, purpose, and prosperity. I'm Char Wilson, your host and owner of Wilson Phoenix Wellness. I'm a mind body wellness content creator and coach, helping high performing professional women transform from burned out to lit up through a holistic wellness approach. Each week, you're invited to join me and my special guests in heartfelt conversations on holistic health and well being, resilience, and living authentically. Whether you're navigating life's big changes, seeking deeper purpose, or simply craving connection and inspiration, you'll walk away with bite sized brilliance as we uncover empowering insights and practical steps to help you create a life of balance, joy, ease, and fulfillment. And today I'm joined by my friend, Kim Goyette. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Great. Hi, Shar. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so excited to have you here. Kim and I, we're new friends. We met last June. Kim is an international yoga instructor and retreat coordinator. She's a mother, a lover of life, and an author. Tell me again about the title of your book and what it's about.
Yeah, it's called Just Plain Crazy, the ultimate guide to affordable, adventurous world travel. And it's based on my family's trip around the world for a year. And we visited 26 countries. We traveled with my daughter, who was 11 at the time. So there's all kinds of tips and tricks on how to inspire others to do the same thing and to come back with zero debt. So just really amazing, wild experiences and world travel, long-term travel, that type of stuff. So,
Love it. We will definitely put the link to that book. Is it being sold online somewhere where our listeners can find it?
at Amazon.
Okay,
Mhm.
beautiful. We'll put the link to that book in the show notes.
Okay.
And what I really want to share is my experience of you. We met last June. I went to your Women in Business Wellness Retreat in Austin, Texas, and I was at a pretty pivotal point in my life. I was in my first year of being a mind body coach and an entrepreneur. And we did some blood work, which was really cool. And that blood work showed me what my intuition already knew, which was I was nearing another point of burnout. And so that retreat was really important for me. It was a precipice. It was a turning point of I can't be in integrity as a mind body coach if I'm not taking care of myself. And so that was a really big mid-year turning point for me to address those early signs of burnout that my body was showing me and start to really work on my energy, on my health, on my happiness. So I'm grateful, so, so grateful. And as a retreat facilitator myself, just watching you, like you are a pro at
Aw,
retreat coordination. So getting
thank
to
you.
experience you, watch you, I walked away with so many ideas and then I went and implemented them in my fall retreat. So thank you. Thank you so
Excellent.
much for that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad that you were inspired and really helped to support yourself. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So Kim brings a wealth of wisdom and insight on creating experiences for women to be able to step into, tap into their innate power and doing that by elevating our highest vibration. So that's what we're going to dive into in our conversation today. And I am so excited for you to get to share your story. You shared with me before the podcast that you were in corporate America, like I was for 20 years, and you felt like you were losing yourself. And then I want to hear more about that. Tell us that story of from losing myself to making the big leap out of corporate, all of the safety from the systems and the structures that I think we're now seeing are not safe at all, and making that big leap into becoming an international yoga teacher, a retreat coordinator, a world traveler. So, can you tell us a little bit more about that story?
Yeah, I love sharing this story because I love inspiring other women to really step outside the box and do what's right for them. And I went through that journey. So I can personally attest to the fear the pain, the stress, all those things that go around making a big transition. So you're right. I was in corporate America in a high pressure sales job for more than 20 years. And I was approaching 40 years old and I did not feel like myself. My body was physically aching like an old lady, and my mind was in so much distress. I was stressed out all the time. I kept thinking to myself, "Oh my gosh, something's got to change. Something's got to change." And I was making so much money, and I was the breadwinner of our family. So walking away from that is very scary. And I was not listening to the signs of my body or my mind. And when you don't listen, the universe keeps giving you signs. And then all of a sudden, it just slaps you in the face so that you can wake up. And that's exactly what happened. There was a big incident at work that rattled everything. And it was at that point where I said, oh my gosh, I have to leave. And so I took a big leap of faith, literally left all that money behind. Took about 3 months to really unwind from all that stress. It really did take that long because you don't realize when you're in it how intense the situation is and how your body is so wrapped up in that and your mind is so wrapped up. So I sat for about 3 months, really thinking about what I want my life to look like and what I value in my future life. And what I valued, my daughter was really young at the time, and I wanted more time with her. So time was everything to me to be able to manage my time and own it. And then I wanted the same quality of life because we got used to a certain lifestyle, and I wanted to make sure that we had enough in order to support ourselves and not be stressed out financially. And then I started little by little just tapping into something that really was a pivotal point for me. When I was in corporate America, I was so stressed out one day and I went and took a yoga class. And I wasn't really into yoga. I just happened to take one at the gym. And at the end of the class, I was laying in Shavasana, which is the final resting pose. And I felt so incredibly different that I laid there and I thought to myself, I need to share this with others. So that's what sparked me to get certified and to start teaching. And then when I took this leap of faith, I was like, I really love being in an environment with women to be able to help support them because I was already going through that journey. And a lot of my friends were working moms. They were totally stressed out. They stretched their energy so thin and they were always giving and not receiving and refilling. And that's where burnout occurs. So it started off really slow. I held my first women's retreat about maybe 12 years ago. And I was begging people. No one knew who I was. I was like, hey, come to this retreat. About 10 ladies showed up, and it was just such an amazing experience. As Char, when women get together, it's just magic. Magic happens. When
Truly.
people sit together, they just elevate to the highest vibration and they so supportive and loving. And so after that first one, it just motivated me to hold space because I got so much out of it. I was so lit up holding that space. And then I started teaching internationally and holding space for co-ed. And that was also incredible, just having these incredible environments, this backdrop of like ultimate yoga on the waters of Costa Rica or Bali or wherever it is. And just being able to take people out of their traditional environment and drop into a space of solitude where they can really tap into themselves, tune into what they need in that moment, and really replenish, refresh, and rejuvenate. So since then, I've just been so inspired, and that's my passion to hold space for women groups as well as co-ed groups and just really cultivate an opportunity for people to unwind, unravel, and really tune into themselves because we don't have that time in our traditional lives. That was the journey.
Yeah, and I'm curious because our journeys are very similar from
Yeah.
corporate to the wellness space and the liminal space, that in between space that exists between the identity of corporate professional woman. I too was the breadwinner. I was making great money, had all the stocks and the insurance and all of that. We call those the golden handcuffs, like same situation.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, How did you tend to yourself in that 3 months or even longer as you were making that transition in the liminal space? Because there's so much fear that comes up when we're making this massive identity shift from corporate professional, high functioning, I pay the bills, I'm a boss lady, to
Yeah.
now I'm a wellness professional. How did you tend to yourself in that liminal space?
Yeah, that's a great question because that's the hardest part, right? It's that transition part. There's so much fear, anxiety, frustration that comes around that. The unknown is very scary. It can be very scary. And so initially, it took me a while to unwind because I kept checking my email because I was always like, ding, ding, like
Yeah.
spontaneously having to jump on fires and put them out and all this stuff with corporate America. And so it felt really weird to not have that stimulus all the time. So just in those 3 months, just taking some time for myself and allowing myself to unwind instead of jumping right into the next thing was really important for my transition. And then to really sit with it and see what lights me up. Because I easily could have gone back to another sales job. And I just kept telling myself, Kim, don't do it. I was offered different jobs and the dangling carrot and all the things that try to lure you back in the safety and security of corporate America. And so I sat tight with that. And then what I did was I really visualized and felt what would it feel like if I was doing the thing that I loved. And that really helped me to manifest it. So when I initially started sitting down, I could see myself holding space. I had some favorite yoga teachers that I went to some of their retreats. I was like, gosh, I would love to be like them and hold space. And I started visualizing myself as if it already happened. And then little by little, things started falling into place because when you're in alignment with yourself, when you're in alignment with your passion, your gifts, all the world opens up. And I can promise you that fear, I always visualize it like this veil that's sitting in front of you, and you're like, holy crap, what is on the other side of that? And can I even step towards it? And I promise you, as soon as you step towards it and through that veil, the what's on the other side is miraculous. My happiness level like blew up tenfold. My quality of life blew up tenfold. My opportunities, like I had no idea that I'd be traveling around the world holding retreats. It just wasn't even on the top of mind at the time. And so all of a sudden, when you're in alignment, things start falling in your lap. And then if you don't stress out about the money will come. And I have to say, after several years of being out of corporate America, and I think it's maybe 12 years now, I make the same amount of money that I made then. My insurance is taken care of. All the things that I was worried about were taken care of. And I'm living the quality of life that I want to live in my own, I'm writing my own story. So that's what I can say. It's like really just sitting with it and visualizing it. And it can be as crazy as you want, like just visualizing things that are really big that maybe in your heart of hearts you feel like you could never access because anything is possible when you really focus on what you want and then align that with fire passion.
Yeah. So if we can reiterate that, what is the one big lesson from your life from that major transition from corporate professional to doing what you love, whether that's being in the wellness space, whether that's staying in home at being a mom, whether that is living a more homestead type of life, whatever it is. But what is the one lesson from that pivotal juncture in your life that you wish every woman knew?
Yes, I love that question. So I would say that as women, our energy in general is outputted very often. We're taking care of others. We're supporting other people's needs all the time. And we very rarely look at what our needs are and our desires. And that was the pivotal change for me. Is what do I want? I'm going to ask myself that question. I'm going to answer it. What are my desires? What do I want out of life? Because this is my story. This is my life. And I don't want to live it for someone else or what someone else thinks I should be doing. Because there was a lot of people that were like, Kim, you're crazy. I can't believe you left all that money behind. There's a lot of naysayers. And then it puts this little bug in your head like, oh, am I crazy? Should I not be doing it? And I just kept tuning into my intuition. No, this is right. This is for me. And just going back to what do I desire? What do I want my life to look like instead of worrying about satisfying everyone else? And it's okay as women to have desires in lots of different parts of your life and really aligning yourself with what that is, sitting true to yourself and just pausing for a moment. And sometimes we don't even know what that is. I have no idea. I've never asked myself that. What do I desire? Gosh, that's such a weird question because I'm always worried about everybody else. And that's how I've been my whole life. I'm a people pleaser. I take care of family and friends and everybody else first. And it was an opportunity for me to really tune in to what I want. And from there, everything just felt so aligned that things started to flow with my business, with my personal life, all the different things started falling into place because I was doing what and fulfilling my own desires.
Yeah. Did you ever struggle with giving yourself permission to lean into your desires? Was that ever a
Yeah.
struggle for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, like, some of the desires is okay, yeah, like that's reasonable. And I can talk myself into it, I feel good about it. And then some of them I feel guilty about. And I'm like, and why am I feeling guilty for wanting to live my life the way that I want to live it? And I have to say, for those of you who live with someone, have partners or families, when you are in alignment with your true self, you're going to be at your happiest and they're going to be happier. So if you think that aligning yourself outside of your desires is like sacrificing for others and they'll be happier, it's not true. It's always going to come back to you and something's going to come up where you feel frustrated, resentful because you haven't been able to live out what you want to live. So, yes, I struggle with that often and I talk myself out of it often.
Yeah. Tell me how you navigate that when the guilt shows up for
Yeah,
following your desires. What do you do?
yeah. When guilt shows up, I sit with it. I'm like, why am I feeling guilty? I ask myself that question, like, why is that the emotion that I'm feeling right now? And normally it's because I put someone else's worth ahead of my own.
Mm.
So I'm like, well, if I did this, then this person would feel hurt. So I can't do it. If I did this, then I would inconvenience this person. And so I can't do it. And what happens is we were talking a little bit about our throat chakras. Your throat chakras start shrinking and shrinking. And before you know it, you're not speaking up for yourself. You're not speaking your truth. And so that diminishes your power. And so that's how I navigate it. It's like when I start feeling like I'm shrinking, which is what happens when you're not doing what's in alignment with you, right? You shrink, your whole essence shrinks. I start feeling that. And then now I say, and it was different in the past because I would allow myself to shrink, but now I say, absolutely not. I'm going to confront this or I'm going to speak my desire or I'm going to address an issue because I don't want to be less than. I want to be me.
Yeah. I had the majority, if I look back at all of my private coaching clients last year, which were majority women, and I look at the theme across all of them, their pain points, their desires, why they searched me out for mind body coaching. And it came down to I want to feel empowered. I want to feel in control of my life because right now I feel like everything is out of control. And there are so many things happening in our world, in our American politics right now, and it feels very unstable. It feels very scary. And I think it's even more important now that we start to talk about and equip women with these empowerment tools that do not exist outside of us. They live inside of us. And that is your area of wisdom that you bring to us, creating these experiences for women to tap into their power by elevating their frequency, their vibrational state. Now, there may be sisters on this call who are like, "Yeah, I've heard that word, vibrational frequency, and that sounds lovely, but what the heck does that mean?" So, can you break that down for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's so funny because you hear high vibe. Oh, that person's high vibe, or I feel high vibe, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it can feel really woo woo. But what it comes down to is really just being in alignment. We were, I believe, we were all put on this earth to share our gifts. And when we don't share our gifts or when we don't provide an opportunity for ourselves to share our gifts, then we feel very low vibrational, like something's missing, or I'm not on the right path, or just something's off. But when we are in alignment with and sharing the gifts that we were given, then things feel really smooth. It's almost like flowing in a river in the right direction. You're not fighting against the current. And so, for instance, I'll give you an example because some of us are like, I don't even know what gifts I have. What are my gifts? I have no idea. You got to meet my mom, right? She is a natural born listener. And if strangers come up to her in the stores, I cannot tell you, and just open up to her because she's so warm and welcoming. And that's her gift. And she shows that side of herself. She's open to that side and she helps so many people just with that gift alone. She's not creating a business. She's not making money off of it. Her heart is open to sharing her gift. And so she's a really high vibrational woman at the age of 76. And she just does what she does naturally, and she's in total alignment with who she is and why she was put on this earth, and people benefit so much from her. So, just sitting with what can you bring to the table? What can you bring to this big table of the planet of your life and see how you can support yourself and support others? And that's where the high vibration comes from. Because if you're in alignment with your gifts and your passion, gifts can also be felt as something that lights you up, right? Oh my gosh, I love sitting down with kids and creating art and inspiring them to do art. That's my passion. So just really tuning into whatever that is. It can be big or small. It can seem, oh yeah, but that's just like for fun. Well, yeah, it's for your fun of life. This is what life is all about. It's about doing fun things. And if some, for some reason, maybe your core job where you're making money is in alignment with your passion, that's okay. Do that. And then do something on the side that really lights you up. And then because you're elevated, you're going to inspire and elevate others, and you're going to be in the flow of the universe. And yeah, that's where it's at.
I'm so excited about where this conversation is going because one of my most favorite things to talk and teach about is manifestation, principles, universal laws, and the practical application of that. And when I was going through my integrative mind body coach training, one of the things that really blew my mind was understanding the connection between our emotional states and our vibrational state. And so I want to dive into that just a little bit and loop it back around to what you said about what lights you up. What infuses you with joy? When do you feel lighter? When do you feel expansive? And starting to pay attention to those little moments, they're like glimmers in life where you just feel like, ah, a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter, a little bit more energized and pulled in towards something. Because when we're in going back to the fear piece, our emotions are energy in motion. And when we are living in a state of fear, anger, victimhood, this I'm out of control and nothing in my life is within my control, that is a really low vibrational state. And just like in sound therapy, or the scientific term is called entrainment. So it's like whatever we're vibrating at is what we're attracting to us. So if we're vibrating low, that is what we're getting more of. So it's so important to constantly look, search for intentionally moments that light you up, interactions that light you up. Go be in nature, go watch the sunrise or the sunset. Be around people that feel really good and energizing to your system. And those are things that elevate you emotionally to states of hope, joy, love. And when you're vibrating at those high states, gratitude for what exists and for what is to come, then you start attracting like frequencies. So, can you
Yeah.
tell me maybe there was a moment in time or a regular practice that you have in your life when you're in those low vibrational states of fear, anxiety, anger, resentment? How do you buoy yourself to a higher frequency state? Do you have a hack? Do you have a trick? Do you have a practice?
So I wouldn't call it a hack or a trick, but I have a practice. And for me, it's the easiest because when you're feeling low, it's really hard to do things, right? It's hard to pull yourself out of the hole. And for me, the easiest thing to do is have a gratitude practice. So you were talking about emotions and different levels of vibration, and gratitude is actually at the highest emotional vibrational state, higher than love, surprisingly, right? So gratitude is the highest vibrational state. And so when you start to think about even the little things, like sometimes I'll be so down and I'll sit with a hot cup of coffee in the morning and I'll be like, I am so grateful for this drink. Or I'll wake up and think, I am so grateful for this breath, this new day. Or I'll go sit outside with the sun in my face and be like, I am so grateful for feeling the warmth on my skin. Just those basic things. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to search really far because we have so much to be grateful for. And what that does, even if you're not feeling grateful, sometimes fake it for a little while. And then all of a sudden your mind is saying, yeah, you know what? There is so much to be grateful for. It's not that bad. And I know tomorrow's going to be a better day. And I can do this. And then the hope, which is everything, the hope starts to come in. And then you start feeling more vibrant in general. You're like, yeah, this is something great to look forward to. And this is an amazing day. And I have so many people that love me. And you just keep growing that gratitude. And if you can just start with the little things and do it first thing in the morning to set your day for a beautiful day, it's like planting a seed, right? For a beautiful day, then it's going to really launch you, bring you a lot of energy. And then that vibration is going to be throughout your body. And then, yes, you're going to attract things because whatever you focus on grows, right? So if you're focusing on all the negative things, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now that could bring us all down, and we need to be aware of it, and we need to focus on the hope and the positive and all the things, being the light, right? We want to be the light to inspire ourselves and others. And the gratitude for me is a great thing.
Yeah, there's a statement, and I don't even know who said it. Maybe I made it up, but it says that my suffering does not reduce anyone else's suffering, but my joy does. And by having this gratitude practice, I remember when I was in my lowest of lows, like not sleeping, insomnia, waking up with heart palpitations, waking up with intense amounts of anxiety. That's the first thing that I started to implement into my life was a gratitude practice. And sometimes all I could come up with is, thank you for this next breath I'm about to take. Deep breath in, feel it through my body, deep breath out. What else? Thank you for this safe, warm bed that I'm waking up in. Then deep breath out. And that was the best that I could do. But over time, that started to change the filter in my mind to be looking for things to be grateful for, to be focusing my attention, and where our attention goes, our energy flows, but to be focusing my attention on what's working and what do I want more of instead of what's not working and what do I want less of. It's more of the energy of what am I moving towards? What am I running towards instead of what am I running away from? And that was a really helpful shift for me to stay in those or to get myself back up to the high vibrational state because we're not always going
Yeah.
to be there. That's not life.
No. Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree with you. Gratitude is such a powerful practice that leads to manifestation, right? Because you can manifest whatever you think of, really, right? So if you're focusing on those low vibrational thoughts, then that's what you're going to manifest. That's what you're going to cultivate. And if you focus on those things that you truly want in your life, and that's what yours. And it's such a, for me, I I dove into manifestation practices several years ago and I love being a guinea pig for myself and just seeing, okay, what's going to happen. And so it was shocking. I surprised myself. I would be thinking of something, even something simple like I was running one day down a trail and sometimes there's garbage there and it just drives me nuts. I'm always like the crazy lady picking up all this garbage. I was like, I wish I had a plastic bag that I could throw this garbage in. And then, no joke, within a second, next thing you know, this bag floats down from the sky and just lands right in front of me. And I'm like, really? I was like, okay, this crap works.
Yeah, but you were looking for it. That could have
Yeah.
easily been overlooked as, "Oh, that's just coincidence." But you were
Yeah.
looking for it, and I think that is the key, that is the practice of intentionally practicing gratitude and intentionally speaking, voicing your desires, even if it's as small as, "I wish I had a plastic bag to pick up this trash." And then
Right.
watch for the surprise magic that happens because that's you've changed the filter. You're no longer looking for and bracing for bad stuff to happen. You're looking for and open to the magic that exists all the time,
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
long as you
You
have
know,
eyes to see it.
well, and that's the thing. So what's interesting is when you start with manifestation, just then sometimes you really pigeonhole yourself. You're like, I would like a red car and it's this type, and you just really being descriptive and very specific. But if you step back and open yourself up to generalities, then it's surprising how the universe fills in the blank and makes it even grander than what you expected. And I've had that happen many times where I just like, in general, like I started a YouTube channel, Yoga with Meditation Mother, and I wanted to help as many people as possible be able to access quality yoga. So I said, I'm going to help tens of thousands of people with my yoga videos. And what ultimately happened, it wasn't through YouTube that I'd help tens of thousands of people. I ended up very shortly after getting this opportunity to videotape yoga videos at different resorts around the world, and it was used for Medicare, like a Medicare healthcare company for older adults. And so I was helping tens of thousands of people through my yoga videos, but it wasn't what I thought. But the universe was like, okay, let's do this thing, and just opened it up totally different for me. So as long as you're not clinging to the end result, you might be surprised that it's so much larger than what you.
Yeah. Those are some of the surprising key elements of manifestation that I think a lot of people are not aware of or they miss is, like you already said, one, just asking yourself, what would I love? What lights me up? And forming a vision around that. Two, believing that is actually possible for you. Three, being open to receive that when it comes into your life, however it comes into your life. Four, feeling it. When you're envisioning it, feeling it as if it's already here. It's a present moment reality and you feel it into your body because, again, emotions, those create the vibration. We can't just use our heads for manifestation. We have to feel it into our heart. We have to engage our entire body in the experience. Five, you take an inspired action. Is this action in alignment with the vision that I see and I feel? And for you, it was, I'm going to keep serving through yoga. I'm going to put it on YouTube. And then the last step, I think it's the sixth step. I lost count. But
So
you
you're with that.
release the expectation of outcomes. That's where it's like the feminine energy. You just release it to universe, God, source, whatever language you want to use, and let it bloom, let it unfold how it's going to unfold instead of gripping to this outcome and narrowing your vision. Because if you're so narrowed and you're so gripped onto this is my plan and this is how it has to come out, you're going to miss the surprise magic. You're going to miss the ways it unfolds. Is that your experience of manifestation?
Absolutely. Yeah. What I've found is that the universe is so much more creative than me.
Mm.
And so if I just plant the seed and say, yeah, I am ready. I'm ready to receive this. And it's happening. Like I can feel it in my veins. Like I can feel that I'm helping tens of thousands of people and they're it's bringing joy to people's lives. And it's through my yoga videos and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, like within a month, I get this call and I'm like, wow, that is so weird. And it wasn't on my radar at all. I didn't put that part together and I didn't have to worry about the pieces, like all those steps in between. It just ended up showing up because I was so open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What lights you up about helping others? Like, why wellness? Why yoga? Why retreats?
Yeah. So I love creating spaces, right? So I love holding space for people to step in and unwind, let go of a part of themselves that maybe they were gripping to that it's getting in the way, and then really filling that with their best version of themselves. And so my favorite part about holding space for the retreats is not only putting all the pieces together and getting really creative because that's where I'm not an artist, physically an artist, but I love the art of creating experiences. So that's my favorite part. And then stepping back during the experience and letting the magic happen between all the attendees, because that's really where it's at, right? I'm just guiding the experience, but everyone else is creating the experience. And so I just love that so much. There's been so many elevated and experiences that happen that were just so surprising. So many different relationships formed, people going beyond what they thought they could ever go beyond. And it's been amazing. And to this day, I still get calls like at that retreat, we did this thing. And then, oh my gosh, just launched me in this direction. And I'm so happy because someone is getting lit up and doing what's in alignment with themselves. So I just love that part of it so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so grateful to have been a recipient of that experience. You do a beautiful job of curating a transformational experience that is balanced with you step back and you allow there to be space. And it's in the space, I think, that the transformation happens.
Yeah.
And that means that you, as a facilitator, you really have to like set your ego back because it's not about you
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about what the recipients are going to receive. And it's about like paying forward the transformation that you've had and infusing that into the experience. But that requires you to step back and create space for that experience to unfold how it's going to unfold for every individual at that retreat.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I would say that the very first retreat that I taught is extremely different than how I teach now. In the very beginning, I had like everything. Okay, we'll do this, and we'll do this, and then if it didn't go that way, I was like flustered. But now it's actually exciting when things. I have generally things planned in my mind, but then I just let it roll, and that's the beauty of it, right? It's well, this whole thing is shifting this way and let's just go with it because this is what everybody needs. So yeah,
Yeah.
it feels really good to hold space like that and to just allow things to download from the universe that's needed in that moment as opposed to trying to drive the bus all the time. That's
Right.
exhausting.
Yeah. And that is the perfect example of the balancing act between the masculine and the feminine energies that exist in all of us. And I do think as women, we are more inclined to touch into the feminine energy, but the ability to say, here's the plan. And now I'm going to step back and let the plan unfold. And that's exactly the manifestation principles. I'm going to do my part and then I'm going to let it unfold how it unfolds and watch the magic happen.
Right,
So much
right.
easier said than done, but you truly are a pro at this.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
So, last question to wrap it up. What is one small actionable step that our sisters listening can take today to elevate their emotional state and tap into their personal power?
Yeah, I would say it's really important. Take some time, preferably in the morning, to just sit. Maybe you get up earlier than everyone else in your household, or maybe you step outside for a minute and just sit by yourself, even for 5 minutes. And first tune in, like, how am I feeling today? What is coming up? And just noticing, like, with no judgment, no one cares. There's not a story that you need to think about or anything like that, but just tuning in to how you're feeling in that moment, and then how you're going to make your day really special and lit up. And really thinking like, what is it that I need today in order to make this feel very alive for me? Because if you're alive and you're awake and you are enjoying your life, that's exactly what the world needs, right? We need elevated people that are doing what they love, that are engaging with others in a really purposeful way, that are mindful and conscious. And if you can be the light, then you're going to shine your light on others to be inspired. And we're just going to spread love and light that way. Now it sounds woo woo like, yeah, just spread love and light, but it's absolutely true. When your energy affects other people's energy. So if you can be responsible for your own energy being in a high vibrational state, then that's what we need in this world. We need high vibe people to help elevate the rest. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're a sister listening and you're like, yeah, that sounds really woo woo, your energy affects other people's energy, there's plenty of science. Western science has caught up to what Eastern ancient wisdom has known for thousands and thousands of years. It can now be measured through advanced instruments that our nervous systems, our electromagnetic energy stemming from our hearts, it extends 5 to 6 feet out of us and it impacts the bodies around us. And it's just like this ripple effect, this spider web of emotional impact that we have on other people around us. It is more than woo. And so if
Yeah.
you can wake up and start asking yourself this simple question, what would I love? What lights me up? What would help me feel better? Because when we feel better, we act better and then we draw better towards us. And it has a massive ripple effect to the collective. So this is very much, there's science to back this, but it is also an experience. So you're going to have to go and experience this for yourself, sisters. I encourage you to take this practice that Kim has shared and start to implement it into your daily life. So, Kim,
Yeah.
tell us, where can our sisters listening find you? Website, social media, and upcoming retreat. Let us know.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So my business name is Meditation Mother. It's MUTHA, like so I'm at meditationmother, all one word.com. It's my website. And then Meditation Mother on Facebook and Instagram. And then my yoga YouTube channel is Yoga with Meditation Mother. And then I have a retreat coming up, and I would love you ladies to join us. It's just outside of Austin, Texas, and it's coming up April 11th to the 13th. And it's all about tapping into your purpose, which is exactly what we're talking about. I'm really excited because we're going to have an amazing guest presenter. So you can find that information on my website underneath yoga retreats at meditationmother.com.
I am so excited for that retreat. I'm very hopeful that I will be back in Austin to experience that again with you. I know that our dear friend Laura is doing 9D breath work, which is completely transformational experience. As a fellow breathwork facilitator, I'm like all day, every day, let's do some breath work together to really unlock what exists within us, to tap into our power, to calm our systems, and to get clear on what lights us up. Thank you so much for this conversation, for your energy, for your light. You are a beam of sunshine wherever you go.
I'm so glad that we connected, and I appreciate the effort.
Yes, thank you as well. All right, sisters, that is the end of our episode today. We are so glad that you joined us on She Speaks. I hope you leave feeling seen, inspired, connected, and ready to take one step closer to living as your true self. Remember, the wisdom we seek is often found within. Keep shining, keep speaking, keep listening to your inner voice, and join us next week as we continue this wisdom journey to wholehearted living. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a 5-star review and share it with the beloved sisters in your life. And be sure to check the show notes for ways to connect with Kim through her website, through her upcoming retreats, her YouTube channel. I'll be sharing some free resources there as well on a breathwork gratitude practice so you could start to implement into your daily life to raise your vibrational frequency and just to support you on your journey to health and happiness. We love you so much, sisters, and we will see you next week on She Speaks.